Hey, welcome back to ABTG. This is a bit of a different video. I'm not reviewing anything in particular. Also, I have no script and no point. We'll see where this goes. I wanted to talk about The Walking Dead a bit. I wanted to talk about The Walking Dead as a franchise in general. I was going to originally review The Walking Dead: The World Beyond Season 1. If anyone's really interested in dying to hear what I think about the show, then, why not? But I don't think enough people are interested in that show for me to actually review it. So here's just some general thoughts about The Walking Dead as a franchise, where it is now, what I've been wanting for it for a while, what direction I think it's going, and just, I don't know, you don't need to watch this. This is just me speaking because I have no one else to talk about The Walking Dead to. Everyone has either stopped watching it or never watched it in the first place. Also, another thing about The Walking Dead: The World Beyond Season 1 is you can't really review that show in a non-spoilery way. You just can't. You have to talk about basically where The Walking Dead, the main show, is at that point. Also, Fear the Walking Dead. So here we are. This is the first video of its style, maybe the last on this channel. It's a full spoiler thoughts on, I guess. So, The Walking Dead. I've never read the graphic novels or the comic books, however you want to call them, and to be frank, I don't really give a shit about them. I couldn't care less. Every time anyone tells me anything about the comic books, it feels gratuitous and cringe and like too much, and it just feels stupid, and it doesn't feel as enlightened as the shows were at a certain point. And maybe I'm wrong, maybe that's on me, because I haven't read them. So I won't trash talk them. This is just the impression that I get every time someone tells me about something, or every time I go read up on a certain aspect of it. Regarding the shows, I think The Walking Dead was pretty fucking solid for a good part of its run there, and I would even argue that it was solid until like well into Season 6. I really liked the Season 6 premiere, with it being all in black and white and everything. I thought it was like a kind of interesting stylistic approach to it. I'm probably one of the only people that had enough of the Governor back in the day. The Governor came back twice, I think, and having a villain come back twice, I'm like, this is too much. I can't give a shit. I'm not interested enough in the Governor. Point is, The Walking Dead was pretty goddamn solid for most of its run. And when they started pumping out Fear the Walking Dead, I know a lot of people were kind of turned off by that show. I think it's mainly because it was revolving around characters that we didn't know, but I found the first few seasons of The Walking Dead fucking brilliant, like absolutely gold. I found the first season to be very, very interesting, and I would have liked to stay in that time frame a lot longer. Like the whole beginning of the zombie apocalypse I found was very, very interesting. I would have loved to explore that even more. Of course we didn't, and the show went in a completely different direction. Well, they went to the water, and then they went down south to Mexico, and all of that was very interesting too. I gotta admit, like, the ranch was something fucking good. I liked that. The villains that they set up in that show, it was great. But then something happened. Something, I don't know, well, Negan happened. Negan happened in the main show, The Walking Dead. None of that worked correctly. I didn't like any of that. Like, Negan could have worked as like a villain for a while and then kill him off. But I don't know what they did with Negan. The whole Glenn situation was fucking weird, because you don't, like, you kill a character, but then you let everyone think about who's gonna die for a year. And then everyone had already mourned Glenn before Glenn arrived, or at least I had. Abraham's the death that shocked me. As I said, spoilers. Anyway, then they did something really, really strange with Fear. They got rid of basically the two main characters, and then they just injected Morgan into it. Morgan was a great character in like episode 1 of The Walking Dead, and his story and his struggle was very interesting. When you meeting back up with him now and then, and how just fucked up he is, and how he's healing or whatever, like, these different stages are very good, but putting him in as lead to Fear was just some of the strangest thing. Which all leads us to The Walking Dead: The World Beyond, because if you're watching this being spoiled everything and you don't really care, just to keep you up to date, as it stands, Fear the Walking Dead, timeline-wise, has caught up with The Walking Dead, and The World Beyond is also at the same time. So basically, all of the characters in these three shows are facing a common enemy, and I don't like that. I really don't like that aspect at all. And I know that the creators, or at least one of the creators but behind the show, said that, franchises live on through 30, 40, 50 years. Like Star Trek have done it. We can do it too. No, you can't. You can't hold a zombie apocalypse show or franchise for over 50 years. It works for science fiction. It works for fantasy because, I mean, solid science fiction. This could be considered science fiction, but it's post-apocalyptic horror. It's pretty specific. The thing is, in Star Trek, you go from one world to another world, and you have all of these different epochs and eras that you can kind of discover. All of these different places you can go to, all of these different species you can see. Fantasy is the same thing. In every season you can invent something new. Beyond the mountain was the deathly lands of the lava swamps. You know what I mean? You can just do whatever the fuck you want. With The Walking Dead, you can't. The biggest, most innovative thing they've come up with in recent years is like swamp zombies, which are just regular zombies, but that have been macerating in water for 5 years. So what am I trying to say? Is there a point to all of this? I guess my point is it's time for The Walking Dead to end, and I don't really know if that's what they're trying to do. I don't really know where they're taking this. But it's been a while now that we've actually needed The Walking Dead to end. And not just end, we've needed to focus on a cure storyline. This is the thing, when they found fucking Eugene, alright, and it turned out to be a big lie. Eugene was lying about him and the CDC or wherever it is that he wanted to go to find the cure and what have you. He shouldn't have been lying. That was a bad move. He should have been telling the truth, because The Walking Dead is now essentially, as a franchise, a corpse. The Walking Dead is nothing more than the carcass of what it once was, and it's just dragging itself aimlessly from place to place. The Walking Dead needs an objective, a clear objective, and the objective cannot be to take down the bigger villain, because they've got those villains with the 3 symbol rings or whatever it is. That can't be the objective. We've already had that objective like 17 times at this point with all of the seasons and all of the shows put together. We need an objective which is save the world, or fix the world, or, you know, surprise us and make them all fucking die at some point. But yeah, that's what you need. You need a goal to get people interested, or at least to keep on watching. I'm all over the place here, I know. I've been needing to exteriorize this for so long, but no one cares about The Walking Dead enough anymore to listen to me, so here it is. They announced the Carol and Daryl spin-off. Yo, you can ask anyone around me. Since season 8, I've been complaining what we need now is just a Daryl and Carol show, because you start getting rid of all of these compelling characters like Rick, like Carl. All you have left is Daryl and Carol. I don't care about any of the other characters they integrated into the show, and it's nothing against the actors or the performances. It's just that so late in the game, when you start adding characters, I'm no longer, I suppose, invested enough to start caring about them. Half of them I don't even know their names. Half of them, when they die, I don't give a shit. There are other characters that just I hated from the get-go. Enid. Fuck Enid. I'm sure the actor's very nice, and I have nothing against you, but the character was shit. It was just, oh my god. Which I guess brings us all to The Walking Dead, The World Beyond. It's not the worst thing that ever came out, and I think a lot of the comments on this show are very, very negative, and I don't understand why they are. Then it's not, the show is of the quality that current Fear and current The Walking Dead are. I think peak Walking Dead franchise was actually season 2, 3 Fear. That's just me. I know a lot of people would argue that The Walking Dead main show was probably better, but Fear the Walking Dead was doing some just amazing things. You want to cross over Fear the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead? God damn it, you should have pushed Madison, and god damn it, you should have pushed Nick to their like complete insanity, and they should have become the Whisperers. You make them the Whisperers, so that the people that have been following The Walking Dead for a while become conflicted once the heroes of one show become the villains of another show. Who do I root for? Do I root for Rick, he's trying to be the good guy and everything, or do I root for Madison, which in the end, even if she's taken it to some sort of like insane extreme where she's wearing the bodies or the corpses of the dead, well, she's still doing it for her family, because Madison kept on doing things for her family. They were just even worse and even worse. That's what I would have done. It would have kept the Fear the Walking Dead to a shorter run. Like, you could have killed the show at like season 4 or 5 maximum once you like basically joined up the shows, had Fear come in as the villains. I think a lot of people from The Walking Dead would have enjoyed that. Maybe they would have gone back to watch Fear and be like, oh, why did they become that way? How come they became that crazy? Alicia has had a good arc. She's grown. But now Fear the Walking Dead's just become all of this bullshit again. Like, Fear the Walking Dead is just like The Walking Dead now, or just like World Beyond. 5 episodes of being sad about killing people, and then they spend another 5 episodes just on a murderous rampage because things need to take place, and then when the next season picks up, they'll be sad again, and they'll be all peaceful again. They're all doing the Morgan spin all the time, like, I gotta kill people, I don't want to kill people, I want to kill people, I don't want to kill people. Oh my god, I'm over that. I'm over that. Just give us a fucking cure. A cure to not only the zombie disease, but to the fucking franchise. I don't know what happened with the World Beyond production. They originally announced it as like the 3rd spin-off, or the 2nd spin-off, sorry, and then they held back and they said, oh no, it's gonna be like a limited run to only like 2 seasons. Originally they had announced, I think it was theatrical movies, or if I'm mistaken, at least they had announced at least 4 TV movies, you know, video on demand movies or whatever it is, and now there's only one with what's his name, Andrew Lincoln. It's all falling apart. Just stop with it, okay? Just give it a rest. I was trying to say earlier, then I cut myself off. I interrupt myself. Do you believe it? The characters, for the most part, or at least the 4 kids, are very good in World Beyond. And Fear's the same thing. As garbage as the last season of Fear the Walking Dead has become, I think that all of the characters are very solid. I can't say as much for The Walking Dead. I think a lot of the new characters that they've integrated recently are kind of boring, useless. But if you were to like smash all 3 shows together, then you have a very solid group of characters that you can work with. They need a compelling story and a solid motivation, I guess, to get them going, so that it can bring back audiences. Also, I do truly believe that The Walking Dead cannot live on for 50 years like other franchises. The Walking Dead just doesn't have that potential. It might live on for 50 years, but being rebooted every 10. If they don't want to do that, if they don't want to reboot everything and they want to keep the same continuity, what they need, first of all, is to stop it for a while, because I feel like people have gotten that zombie fatigue. That's why the only zombie films that people enjoy at the moment are things like Train to Busan, because it's a different twist on zombies. But I think what demotivates people the most, or at least what demotivates me, or what kind of like just exasperates me, is knowing that they're carrying on. Like, there's no sign of fear stopping. They announced the end of The Walking Dead, and you're like, oh my god, finally, but in the same breath, they announced the Carol and Daryl spin-off, which originally was something that I was hyped for, 4 years ago. I said The Walking Dead should just become the Carol and Daryl show, but now I'm like over it. There's no end to it. What you need to do is give like a clear game plan with an end, and say what we're gonna do is we're going to find a way to wrap up these current stories, focus and move on to like an end story. And we know that this is the final story, this is the final arc that we're going to tell and show the world. This is the story of how our characters try to find the cure. I'm not saying they do. I don't necessarily want a happy ending. I don't care. They can all get killed in the process, or they can actually get the cure and everyone's cured and la-di-da, it's all a happy thing. Or maybe just say, oh, well, they're all moving up north. Everyone goes to Canada because it's cold and the zombies can't live up there, whatever the fuck. But it needs like an end game, and they announce an end game. We've merged all our shows together. We have one show. It's called, I don't know, The Walking Dead The Cure, which would truly feel like a cure to the franchise. And I think that would bring back people to the franchise. I truly do. But maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the only idiot that's, invested enough, I guess, to continue watching the show. I know that someone's gonna tell me that. If you're not invested in all of these characters and all of these shows, why are you watching them? I'm invested in the characters. Every show has at least a few characters that I enjoy and that I want to see what happens to them. I know. Do I have to sit through fucking 16 episodes of nothing just for a few scenes with a few characters that I like? Well, you know what? I fold the laundry and I do the dishes while I watch. It's just, The Walking Dead has kind of overstayed its welcome. I will forever respect how good The Walking Dead or Fear the Walking Dead have been. I will forever respect that. And I will forever respect the impact that it's had on not only popular culture, but also on how TV is made. And there's just some amazing talent working on The Walking Dead, in front of the camera and behind the camera. I don't regret watching The Walking Dead. I just think that it's killed itself at this point. It's committed suicide. And it's a bit sad. It's a bit sad. I would have liked The Walking Dead to leave with a bang. Everyone talks about it for years to come, but no, instead we have this kind of situation where people are just like, oh, that's still going on? Alright, what do you think of The Walking Dead? What do you think of the franchise as a whole? What do you think of World Beyond if you've seen it? What do you think of Fear? What do you think of what I think? Do you have other thoughts? Alright, thank you so much for watching and listening to me. Like, subscribe, and The Walking Dead goes from some seasons being absolute bullshit to some seasons being true greatness, which is why I don't rate shows overall. This is the prime example of why I rate shows season per season. See ya.